Welcome back for another episode of Branching Out with Sierra. Today, we're on episode 31, A Year in Review.
Toots and twist.
And if you can't tell, we have Ericka Kerns back again. I think she only came back again because she wanted to be the person on the most episodes in 2024. But this doesn't air until 2025, so she didn't take that into account when she scheduled herself. I'm really grateful to have Ericka with us again today. We're going to be talking about 2024, everything that went down for both Branching Out Podcast and Sierra Learnership Collaborative, as well as looking ahead to what you can expect in 2025. Thank you so much for being here. It's not like I had to beg you or anything.
You did not have to twist my arm, and you're welcome, but Jay Foreman's also welcome. So Jay took the superlative. We'll go ahead and let him know. This is airing in 2025 for you, Jay, for me, but mostly for you. All right.
She's not competitive at all.
No, it wasn't a competition. I still reign supreme.
Oh, okay. All right, so we're taking a different approach today, Ericka. Can you share with the audience what we're going to be doing?
Yeah, it's the Ericka Show now. Strap in. I'm really excited. You sat down and pulled some data. We're going to look at what type of year we've had, the world has had, but we'll focus in. So you have prepared some data. I want to first, if you will, be so kind, tell me about branching out. We have some stats prepared, but can you tell me first just a recap on when you launched it, how many episodes? I think you just said 31 we're at now. Tell me.
Yes. Okay. So we started in June 2024. Okay. And really the idea was that was on my 4-year anniversary for my business. So that was a great time to launch it all at once, celebrate the anniversary and launch the podcast. And yes, we are on episode 31 today. So technically, this is being recorded at the end of 2024 to be released next week in 2025. So it was great. I did not realize when I agreed to do a weekly podcast how much time and effort it might take, but I'm glad that I did. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you asked about data because as AC, I love data. So I did get up at 5 this morning and go through a lot of information to be able to share. So the interesting thing about podcasts, and for people who haven't done one before, so we have so many different platforms. So Spotify, we have YouTube, there's Apple Podcasts, and so on. So I really would like to have a place where I can see all the data all in one place and it not be like piecemeal of this is what we did on Spotify and so on. So I did focus on Spotify because that is the initial place that we chose to post all of our episodes, and it kind of sends out in the feed to all the other places. So this is what I went with. So in 2024, 96% of our listeners were in the United States across 19 states. So that's cool. I always wonder who's listening. There are people outside of our area listening, which is interesting. And you kind of have to wonder, is that because folks nearby are sharing it or they're coming across it naturally, search terms, whatever it may be. Yeah. But our top 3 states, I'm not surprised by this. You won't be either. Okay. Virginia, Maryland, and PA. Okay. So those people that don't know me well, those are 3 states that I go through constantly. I drive up and down the 81 corridor. My office is in Winchester, Virginia. I reside in Greencastle, PA, and I travel through Maryland and West Virginia to come to and from the office. So that was interesting. The other thing, not surprised, top city in Virginia, Winchester. Okay, top city in Maryland, Hagerstown, which I have lots of clients concentrated in Hagerstown. But in PA, it's Scranton.
What?
Yeah, Scranton.
Shout out the office.
Yeah.
No. Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, I didn't know that was a real city till now, so it is.
Oh. Well, we're always learning new things.
I always thought people were joking when they said that. I think there was some truth to it somewhere in my brain. How exciting.
Yes.
Okay,
yes. What else do you want to know? Like top episode? What kind of stats do you want? Because I have it all.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that. What about the other 4% of listeners that aren't in the United States?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I actually have it pulled up because this was a lot to write down. Audience. Let's take a peek. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, this is interesting to me. 77% of our listeners are female on Spotify, but it reverses, and the majority of our listeners are male on YouTube.
How interesting.
Yeah. So
Preferred platforms.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, geographic location here. So outside of US, we have some Canada, Canadians, Australians,
Both countries with clients
both
of
countries
yours.
with clients.
Yes, very
So
cool.
they might be listening, they might be sharing it. We have India,
Wow.
which I did not actually remember that until I just saw it now.
Very cool.
How do I go backwards? This is important, you know. And we have Pakistan, Russia, Kazakhstan, Philippines, Cayman Islands, New Zealand, Nigeria.
Wow.
It's so interesting. I don't know. And here you can see the breakdown over here. So Apple Podcasts make up 58.8% of our listeners. 21.6 is Spotify. And I was laughing earlier because I broke it down even to like iPhone versus Android users.
Tell me about that.
Okay.
I'm an iPhone gal religiously.
Yes, me too.
Okay.
65.2% iPhone users, 19.8% Android. Everybody else is accessing it from the web, so they don't have that data.
I wonder if that's individuals maybe playing it throughout their workday or lunchtime or something.
Could be. It better be my brother listening the entire time he works at Lowe's. That's what I expect of him. So I'm going to be checking that.
I did see that data in your analytics. It's definitely him. I took one for the team on that one. All right, tell me more about episode data. How many hours of content do you have? I'm unfamiliar to the world of podcasts beyond that which you have shown me.
Oh, well, okay, here we go. So according to Spotify, we have 903 all-time plays. So across, prior to today, 30 episodes. Okay. The number one episode, drum roll please, like where is it? Is with Just Gordon, episode 10. I know we're not surprised, but it was listened to 260% more than other episodes.
Wow.
And was the longest at 2 hours and 25 minutes. So it's interesting because the one I was like, people are going to check out. They're not going to listen that long. No, instead, people told me, like, I listened to it like on the way from destination to destination until I did the complete episode. Or like Mark Kelly, it's his entire like gym visit. Every time he goes to the gym, I guess he's listening to it over and over again.
What type of podcast listener are you?
I like to listen to it on the road, sometimes in the shower. We know I try to use my time wisely. So it's when I'm doing like mindless things. I don't use my mind while I drive.
It's State Police, that was a joke. That's just her type of humor. I'm not a shower podcaster. I've told you openly, I'm not a podcast gal. I will be, I'm becoming, but just from this side of the mic. You can book me. Just kidding. We're not there yet. Maybe one day. But I too like it while I'm traveling because it feels more like a conversation at that point. I feel more engaged, but I find myself piecemeal listening as well. So Jess Gordon had been on more than once.
She has been on twice. And she came on the second time with really big updates in her life, which is so exciting. And I'm not going to repeat them. You have to go back and listen to that episode, guys.
Yes.
That was an important one. Second most listened to episode was with Jay Foreman, which was not surprising. Our local celebrity.
Fun guy.
Sorry. And tied with him is my episode 1, which I love because I do want people that start listening to go back to the beginning and hear the whole reason behind the podcast. That one's where I really lay the foundation for everything. And
Start at 1.
Yeah. If you're starting to listen to this, go back to episode 1 and at least listen to that before you jump ahead.
Well, I love that they have to start the journey with you.
Yes. It's a must.
Yeah.
You asked how many hours of total content. So 35 hours of content, which it's almost like a whole work week.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like a lot.
No, it is.
It was a lot. It was a lot of prep, a lot of booking guests.
Tears.
What
has the journey been like? The emotional side.
Okay. Well, I will say the first 5 episodes were the absolute hardest for me because I thought it was important that I do those solo and really give people an idea who I was, what I was trying to share. And that was my first experience ever, obviously being on a podcast, but feeling like I am staring into a camera talking to an audience that I can't see. I can't read their body language. I don't know how they're feeling. I can't change the way that I'm interacting based on what they're getting, right? And so that was really hard. It's like last week I did it was actually for a SHRM. I got on, they did a Zoom webinar format, and I couldn't see the attendees. And it was like immediately, I don't know, how am I going to read them? How am I going to deliver this? So that was, I don't know if it was emotional. There was a lot of fear the first 5 episodes. I think I probably was shaking. I was sweating a lot. It was tough. There were weeks where I did cry for various reasons.
Because you're a crier.
Well, yeah,
And we love that about you.
Yes, I am a crier. Sometimes I cried because I literally didn't know that that week I could do anything else.
Wow.
And I was just like, I don't have anything left. I don't want to drive to Winchester and record an episode. Why am I doing this? Why did I commit to weekly? And that one out there held me accountable and said, you committed to it. You need to follow through. And I pushed through and it was fine. Other times I cried because I'd record a whole episode and then the system would crash and we'd lose it and I'd have to start over again. And it's hard to deliver the same content with the same enthusiasm a second time around. It's just
you can't replicate authenticity.
No.
Yeah.
No. But so that was hard.
You still had great content. I will give you props. And who's the person behind the screen if they are jumping in for the first time?
That is Matthew Bear.
Matthew
Bear.
Of Social Drive.
Of Social Drive. And he has worked so hard on this. You know, when people ask about the podcast, I kind of joke and say, well, I just show up, right? But it's not really that much of a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, beyond, you know, making sure that I have an engaging topic, he does everything, you know, making sure that we have guests. He's screening to make sure that they're a good fit for the podcast. Just because somebody wants on the podcast doesn't mean that it's necessarily a good fit. We've had people reach out that I don't know at all. And so he helps with that. He does obviously all the recording, all the editing. So listening to me repeatedly, making sure our video matches as he alternates between us when we talk over top of one another.
I know, I'm sorry as well.
He does not like episodes with you and I. He does not like episodes with Jess Gordon and I and Jay and I because we talk over top of one another. And so he's constantly trying to like switch the camera back and forth.
I'm flipping through my notes to find the note about those 3 individuals you just mentioned being, wow. Sorry about you, Matt. He also does really cool like visuals and his cover tiles for the releases. I won't share his little secret, but he really is great. I will say he's been a pain in having to deal with. He's a real diva. And then when we were ordering, what does his name tag say? Do you remember the order?
Oh no, what did we even end up going off?
Something that I didn't select, something very humble of him. But he really is your producer, right-hand guy. I'm the right-hand gal. Don't get it mixed up, please. Thanks.
Well, he set up the studio. Like, I didn't know like a sound panel was a thing. He put Kramer on our wall.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
The Kramer has arrived. But yeah, truthfully, it wouldn't have been possible without him. So, though there were tears when we lost things, he would help recover and, you know, help me to believe that I could still go on.
Yeah. Well, it's been a great journey for 6 months from my seat watching you guys. For those who are being so kind and not watching us and they're just listening, first I want to note that I'm in all black as my personality would indicate, and Sierra is, because yesterday was a very large holiday, she broke out her Will Ferrell Smiling is My Favorite Christmas earrings and coordinating sweatshirt and personality. So just noting that. But the fact that we have Kramer, the Kramer behind my shoulder, brings me great joy.
Yes.
This is not the episode to go and watch on YouTube. Continue listening, for goodness sake. I mean, do what you prefer. Apparently we have preferred platforms. But is there anything else about branching out with Sierra that you want to cover? Your studio, your producer, your most favorite guest, that's me. Your most welcomed guest, that's Jay. Thank you for allowing me to differentiate. And the wonderful Jess Gordon. Anything else about branching out? Because I want to jump into client facing.
Yeah, so I would just say thank you to everyone in general
Yeah.
because I've had so much support, people willing to give up time from their day to come and record with me. There are tons of people who are sharing it that are giving me feedback. When you send a little message and say, "Hey, I just listened to episode blank and it was just what I needed to hear today," you have no idea like what that does for me and makes me realize, okay, those tears were worth it, right? If it
Yeah.
helps one person. Um, I know that Rich Weller
Yeah.
has been really great at sharing the podcast and recommending us. And I love the Slice of Life podcast. So if you haven't listened to that, listen to Jay and Rich. Definitely great entertainment. That's my shower choice, by the way.
Okay. You
Well,
heard it here, folks. It is a great podcast. It
It,
really is. They're great.
it is. They make me laugh.
Mhm.
I find myself having conversation with them
Yeah.
as
Talking back so they can hear you.
yes.
I love that.
Yeah. But no, just a general thank you for everybody's support as we did this. This is something I went into without a vision. And I think we both know that everything I go into, I have like a pretty darn clear picture of what I want to do. And this one I didn't, other than I want to spread the message that we are all leaders. We all have the ability to influence people.
Mhm.
We need to be intentional about that.
Mhm.
You don't have to have a title. I just want people to think about in this interaction, how can I have a positive impact? And take leadership principles that sometimes appear to be overly complicated
Mhm.
and just apply them to daily life.
Mhm.
So that was my goal. That was very open-ended goal, right? And the title branching out, that was Matthew too. I'm pretty sure that was all him. He was the logo.
Very on brand.
Yes, very on brand, matches SLC's logo. And I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping on topic. Obviously, with branching out, we do talk about other things and we go, down some rabbit holes, but I think that makes it more fun.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm always learning from the guests. I'm
Mhm.
always, taking away something. So yeah, just a general thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I think it's been from my seat a great additional resource in your purpose of support, right?
Yeah.
Because you make it sound and look easy sometimes. You are big on accountability, which we'll talk about later, but and you don't let people walk away without at least considering action or a plan. But this is just another, again, taking it back to your logo, branching out, another arm of support. So keep doing what you're doing. I want to talk about client facing hours. It takes up a lot of time on the on the calendar.
Did you just say
I
Callie?
said Callie. I did not say what's the booking of your own Calendly?
Oh, Calendly.
I refuse.
Yeah.
I really dislike that platform. I think it's really helpful to those who are able to implement into their life. Not to bash a brand, it's a wonderful product, not for me, because you are crazy busy. Tell me just a little bit about what product offering SLC has. A lot of people aren't familiar, especially if they're just, on the branching out side of the house.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I know we have individual coaching sessions, your disc debriefs, workshops, speaking engagements. Unload that for me.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I'll go back to, again, 5 o'clock this morning. When I sat down, you see these tallies in front of me. I literally went through every day of 2024 and looked at the number of coaching sessions I did, how many speaking engagements. I wanted to know where I spent my time.
Sure.
I broke it down by quarter, by month. And I will give that data, but as I give it, I'll explain what that really looks like and what I do.
Sure.
So actually, we just talked about this on the way down the road when this guy said, "Isn't coaching and like training the same thing?" And I was like, excuse me. I've done a horrible job of explaining that. So 255 coaching sessions in 2024. And when I looked at that, it took my breath away because how exhausted I get and how I literally feel like I've reached my limit with stuff, but I love it so much and I can't stop, right?
Yeah.
So that number was crazy to me. And what coaching looks like, it takes such a variety of forms. Sometimes I'm coaching an individual business owner. Sometimes it's a leader in an organization. It's an emerging leader just getting started in their career, where their organization is developing them and investing in their growth. But coaching is all about discovery and about asking questions to help guide someone to their next steps, guide them to action, right? It is not consulting. And I don't want people to get the two of those confused. Now, do I ever consult? Yes, I do. But I am pretty clear to my clients, you are hiring me to coach you. Right now, you're asking me a consulting question. Is that the hat you want me to wear? What do I need to be for you right now? So in general, 255 sessions for coaching. Then DISC. I know we did episodes on DISC, and you were so vulnerable and shared your own DISC results, and we unpacked them. It was fun. So I did 92 sessions this year unpacking DISC results. And I need to go back and look at the number of actual assessments I've done since the beginning of time, because I have to admit, just by looking at that page with the graphs, I can pretty much peg people at this point just based on a couple of numbers because I've done it so many times. But I love those DISC debrief sessions, so 92 of those.
You know what I'd be interested in, since you're a data gal? I love data. I don't like finding the data. I want somebody to just... I'd be really interested in looking at all of the discs you've ever done, the categories of the outcome. The majority of your clients, or some of them not clients, well, technically, yes, but you have large teams sometimes you're working on. And so I love watching you work on those, especially the team reports are always so interesting. But
they really identify sometimes some clear gaps in why some challenges are coming up in an organization. So that's really cool to see. Okay, speaking engagements or workshops. I did 65 of those. And when I stopped and thought about it, I was like, okay, well, because I took the final 2 weeks off at the end of the year, that's really about 50 weeks.
She didn't.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that later.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. But I'm one step closer than I was the previous. How about that? Yeah. Okay. 65 to me is a lot packed into 50 weeks. I was talking to Matthew on the way down the road that the amount of planning that it takes for a coaching session, the prep, right? But for engaging an audience and doing a speaking engagement, there's a lot of prep. I tend to say 2 to 3 hours per hour of delivery it takes to plan. So there was a lot of that. And it took a lot of different forms. I did some work with local municipalities, so I had some speaking engagements there. Some SHRM stuff was cool this year. Lots of team development, that sort of thing. Got invited to do a couple conferences. It was a good mix of workshops and a variety of topics. I mean, leadership is very broad, and I get a lot of different requests. If I don't already have content, I develop the curriculum for it. So I've enjoyed putting that together this year.
I love that you took note on that, because while you were speaking, that's something I was thinking about from my seat. I don't know if people realize it's all individual. You might speak on similar topics often depending on what your client's need is or what you see in the gap in business need and whatnot, but you are truly preparing for that audience every time. They're getting an authentic, tailored presentation, and I think that really makes you stand out. And I love that. Just asking for clarification on your workshops and speaking engagements, I know that a huge chunk of your calendar goes to team atmosphere, team building, helping all of these various projects, but for applying it to a team with larger clients. So do you include that in your workshop in speaking engagement data?
I did. I was including that. So the programs that I've built out, so like a client that I have in Inwood, West Virginia, they're recurring again in 2025. It's a 12-month program, but the way we've done it is we alternate between a 2-hour speaking engagement where I come in and do a workshop, right? Versus the next month I would have one-on-one sessions. So we're mixing it up. So I do consider that workshop, training, speaking engagement. I kind of put them all in the same bucket. By the way, for folks listening, the reason I'm also able to tell this so clearly is because I use the time insights on Google Calendar, and we color code everything down to I'll just say
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
I ran out of colors.
Uh-huh.
There's a limit, by the
No
way, and I
label.
reached that limit. So we're going to have to combine personal and health,
Great.
because Matt gave me a tidbit. This is advice for the new year, that hold for client should be a different color
Mm,
than an actual booked client.
love that. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think I'm
good.
going to give up red, and we're going to make that
A hold
hold for
for.
client.
Love
Yeah.
that. Good
So
job.
look at us growing.
Well,
Uh,
we knew that. Just kidding. Love you, Matt. Okay, I love that. Another big product SLC offers is centered around accountability. Tell me about that.
that is something we didn't start until December of 2023.
Mhm.
And I didn't know where that would go, honestly. I started the Aspire to Achieve Growth program. It was a monthly accountability program. And I wanted, to me, this was an affordable option. I wanted just general public to have access to someone to hold them accountable for the goals that they set for themselves.
Mhm.
I love that so much. I wanted to be able to bring that to the table. So there is the option to do group monthly accountability, but there's also the add on of, if you go top tier, you can have one on one 30 minutes a month with me to really dig into your goals.
Mhm.
But I did have 96 accountability sessions
Wow.
this year. So that became pretty big fast. And I said to Matthew, because my coaching is full and there's a wait list with that,
Mhm.
that top tier of Aspire to Achieve,
That's way in.
I have pretty much gotten to the point where I'm not going to be able to take on more of those.
Mhm.
um, so by the way, in 2025 I'm going to need your help with accountability.
Yeah. Don't I know it? I love that. Okay, so that's one offering. Just pausing there really quickly because I only recently learned this. Your Aspire to Achieve, it when you type it out, it's all one word, no spaces,
With a two.
with a two, but it only just clicked at our previous retreat, which we'll talk about because that kind of falls under accountability. Tell us about Aspire to Achieve, please. I
Okay.
love it.
Yes. So I, for so long, had thought about all of these clients coming to me with a list of aspirations they had for themselves, right?
Mhm.
And they had tried to reach these goals before unsuccessfully. And those that know my full focus system know I'm very strategic in the way that I get to goal setting.
Mhm.
Okay. And I wanted to help people go from an aspiration from aspiring to actually achieving the goal. And
Mhm.
so I mapped out what that process would look like. So there's alignment that has to occur, which takes a lot of different steps within it. And I teach that at the Aspire to Achieve Full Focus retreat. So that's the alignment piece. And
Mhm.
then the accountability piece was a piece that was missing for people. And that's why I decided to offer my accountability program.
Mhm.
So literally now I say, you bring the aspiration, right?
Mhm.
I'll help you find alignment. I'll hold you accountable, and then we can celebrate your achievement. So literally leading people from an aspiration to achievement. That's where it came from.
I love that so much. And it's not some cheesy tagline that someone just threw together. When I sit down and I look at the product, and I don't want to keep calling it that because it takes emotion and your personal connect that you so wonderfully offer your client or groups that you're working with. Um, it's hard.
Mm,
It, like, to simplify it, it's calling you to acknowledge.
yeah.
So things that we know, sometimes when you make them okay, I'm talking about me, sit and focus in on it, but I also, my perspective was watching others kind of journey through that, and it's not easy. It takes you being very matter of fact about reality
Mm-hmm.
yourself, whether it's an emotional, fear-based responses blocking people, myself on some projects or whatever else. It was brilliant once that clicked. So thanks for letting us in on that. I thought it would be really important for us to highlight.
Yeah.
The other side of your accountability offering. So you have a regular, almost full full A2A or Aspire to Achieve program, but you expanded that offering this year.
Yes. So it's Aspire to Achieve Full Focus. So I wanted people to achieve full focus on their goals, setting intentions for the new year. And so that's a 2.5 day retreat. We pulled it off in November, and I have to say it went very well. And so we're doing it again this January. So January 17th to 19th. And I don't know if you saw it yet on my calendar, but the way that 2025 falls, I already put it on the calendar, and it's the exact same dates. So November 7th to 9th, 2025, and January 17th to 19th, 2026. I already put those on the calendar, and I already have people sharing that they're interested. So very excited for that. It takes what I had taught in training/workshop form over a couple of hours with people drinking from a fire hose, and it's expanded over 2.5 days so that people walk away with the plan, a written plan of action, rather than just talking about what you have to do to create the plan, because people won't set aside the time for themselves outside of that. So it's that nice balance of a retreat where you're getting away and relaxing, and hopefully, getting off of social media, doing a little digital detox, while really creating a clear plan for your future. And, I do want to acknowledge what you said earlier about Aspire to Achieve. I am sitting in the seat where I get to see all the achievements. And I wish that I could go client by client and share with you, like, I'm going to cry, and share with you all they have achieved in 2024. And it blows my mind, whether it's an achievement in their business, whether it's losing the weight they've been trying to lose for years, whatever it is, they're achieving their goals, and I get to sit on the sidelines and watch it. So I love it so much. If I can be the one that's a little bit hard on them sometimes and doesn't accept excuses, right? But then sometimes it's love that they need, and I have to be able to read that and know when they need the little pep talk. But I get to celebrate that with them. So if I didn't have to maintain confidentiality, I would sit here, and I'm imagining it like Santa's like nice list, right, with all the people's names. I would just like go through and share all the achievements of my people.
I'm sure you could fill multiple episodes with that information.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I don't get a lot of that. It's not my place in supporting you or your clients to see some of that, though some of it does trickle down. So it's exciting. And I love Google reviews. I'm used to, as a consumer, getting so many requests. So knowing that someone takes the time to leave you a Google review and the stuff that they share in those. So what they're choosing to disclose based on all of the work on the back end, the time and the choices they've made, that is monumental. And so I understand why you would get emotional over that. So I love the retreat. It was great. It's being sneak peek. It's transforming on its own based on client feedback, based on brilliant ideas.
Okay, brilliant. Okay,
I was gonna say from me, but I filtered.
What you want me to do is share the ideas that you gave, right, Ericka?
No, I don't, but I want them to just come and experience it for themselves and have the joy in the back of their mind knowing that it was procured and came to fruition based on everything that I did and nothing else. Just kidding.
No, I have a massive task list from you that I have to work on in preparing for this retreat in January. No, she did a great job of being there to experience the retreat as a participant.
And thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. While working the retreat, which was an interesting balance, and I'm not sure how you managed that. But to be able to walk away with all of, like, you can be honest with me and know I want that. I want you to tear it apart. I give you permission to tear everything apart so that we can improve it. But yeah, there are a lot of cool changes. Added happy hour on the first night because we have an awesome sponsor for that. We have a giveaway for a spa package so someone can experience that, which the new thing now is everybody's reaching out to book a massage.
I know.
Did you see that this morning?
I love that. And you've chosen a place where like you can break away from the work to go do that.
Yeah.
on purpose. And so
It's a
good
breakout
for
session, so they
them.
have permission to. They're not
Yes.
leaving while there's content.
Can I stop you here? Can
Okay.
you help me with a challenge? Because typically on your podcast you ask your guests, and I'm not I'm just kind of a staple now, not a guest. But
Oh my
if you
gosh.
could note that, please. Jay's Jay Foreman, I know you're listening. You're just sitting there shaking your head like, God, this girl. Sorry. Anywho, here's a challenge that I don't know how to address. It challenges me, and I, for those of you that don't know me, I'm a human resources professional, and so my days are just challenging, and I'm used to open dialogue. I don't know how to help someone understand that if their personality type, why would it be beneficial for them to be your client if they have the personality type where they love go with the flow? They don't want to be what they see as so neurotic as using colored labels or a full focus planner where you're making them, right, bringing it back to disc, which I love. They're not the type to sit down and do that for themselves, though something they feel convicted to follow what you're offering because
Mhm.
it taps into some type of interest, however deep into their psyche it might be. What would your response? Now, I don't, you're not the type to sell, but help me. How would I address that with someone to help them gain different perspective?
Okay, so what I will say is that my clients are usually the exact opposite of me. It's very
Mhm.
common for my clients to be creatives who are go with the flow kind of people. So, interior design industry is
Yeah.
huge, huge for me,
Mhm.
right? Um, the majority of them are DIs, IDs. It's very, very common, but I being the highest, meaning they don't want all the structure. They don't want to feel like they are bound to a schedule.
Mhm.
And what I will say is we meet in the middle and figure out what structure we can create that gives them freedom and flexibility while also making sure they get done the things that are of greatest priority, because
Mhm.
that's usually the problem is the shiny object syndrome, and I want to go do the thing that's fun and exciting and then not doing the most impactful things.
Right.
So even though I teach building an ideal week, the ideal week for some of my high eyes creatives, it's more of a checklist of within a week, I need to spend this amount of time on these things to get the most important things done. I don't
Mhm.
care where they fit into the schedule. Fly by the seat of your pants as long as you fit them in your schedule,
Right. You've
right?
dedicated this.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So I will say that I have to meet those clients in the middle and say, I understand that you're not wired like me, and I don't want you to be wired like me, but I want you to look at the way I do things, and let's talk about what impact they've had on my ability to get things done and how we can create some semblance of structure in their lives that really give them the freedom that they're looking for.
I love that.
Does that make sense?
I'm hearing you say you're not a dictator. You're not there to tell them what they're doing wrong or what they
Oh,
need
no.
to. You're just walking alongside, supportive.
Yeah.
And we all have whatever resources assigned to us. We need to be good stewards or figure that out.
Yeah.
So thank you for articulating that. I see that there's some pushback, not in your current clients, but from people that I know to be on the fence with life coaching, with business coaching, with consult, whatever it might be.
Hmm.
And I love that you addressed it in that fashion. So thank you.
Of course.
So we covered kind of accountability. We have an upcoming retreat. We can might talk about that when we talk about 2025. I want to talk more about some of the calendar insights you brought up. And your color coding. What other data might you have pulled from your Cali insights?
Well, let me just tell you about that. Well, I know that Thursdays are my busiest day across the board. That was interesting to me, which makes sense because I have B&I Thursday mornings. So, I have to be on those calls at about 7:15 to get started at 7:30. And I tend to also have events Thursday evening. So it's a really long day for me. So that was interesting. I spent 134.8 hours on the road,
Mm,
which I am going to go ahead and say that I still think that that's pretty low,
yeah.
because you and I didn't always put time on the road. We would just leave gaps before, and then we started actually tracking it and putting a color code system. And I don't know when we transitioned in the year on that.
I want to say it was around the summer, so you probably have. Well, I didn't do it until I noticed that you started doing it. So
Mm,
there's probably still some days where it wasn't factored
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe a couple months at most of
Yeah.
accurate data.
Okay, so 134.8 hours, a lot of people will see that as like that's terrible.
Mhm.
I see it as that was an opportunity to reflect, an
Mhm.
opportunity to listen to podcasts, to call people that I needed to check in on.
Mhm.
Like I use that time.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it so much, but it will be so much better when I can take that time and like go to the gym,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like do other things for myself.
Mhm.
So, anyway, that was interesting. Relationship building. So,
Yes.
we have light green is
Mhm.
relationship building. And what that includes is if I'm having one on ones, if I am at a chamber event,
Mhm.
if I'm on a BNI meeting, all of those are relationship building. Um, 390.8 hours of relationship building in
Thank you.
2024.
Wow.
So that was a lot.
Mhm.
Um, and understand that I am involved in 3 chambers, so there's a lot of networking there. Now, last year, which for people listening to this, that would actually be 2023. I'm talking about not last year, 2024. Um, I was in Polka Dot Powerhouse. I was going to Women of Winchester all the
Mhm.
time. I had all of these other additional networking things, and I reached a point where I couldn't serve the clients that I needed to serve because I was doing so much of it.
Mhm.
So I did pull back from networking a bit, and it's still a pretty high number.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me more about activities within the chambers, because sometimes when people think of that, they just think, you go to a couple events or you pay your membership and reach out as you need to network. But you're pretty active.
Pretty active, most active in Top of Virginia Regional Chamber.
Mhm.
Also a member at Washington County Chamber of Commerce, did some speaking stuff for them, attended, their version of Business After Hours, which they
Mhm.
call BASH
Mhm.
there. And then also joined Cumberland Valley Business Alliance this year, which is up in PA,
Mhm.
because I really wanted to work on building out the network where I live as well.
Sure.
But as far as here at the chamber, I am co-chair of the ambassador group. So we did fire that back up again post-pandemic
Mhm.
and tried to like revive that, which the whole idea behind it is really trying to make sure that members are taking advantage of their benefits. So it's
Mhm.
checking in on members, making sure that they know what comes with their membership, that it's not just one point of contact that
Mhm.
is a member for a business, but your entire team is invited to
Yeah.
events, really making the most of the membership. So I go do visits to different businesses in the community with my fellow ambassadors. We just check in. A lot of times we like get the look like we're going to sell them something. I'm like, no, you already purchased. Actually, I'm
Yeah.
here to make sure you're using it.
Mhm.
We need people to do that for gym memberships. Like stop by, knock on the door. Hey, you've been a gym member?
Move on, Sierra.
Oh no, not you.
Not currently.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
Okay. Okay.
That's my accountability for 25.
Uh,
Um, yeah, ambassadors, you guys are really, really busy right now, and you have a great group that you're working with. What
yeah.
else for TVRC are you working on?
Okay, so this year I did help with the Arising Leadership
Yeah,
Program,
full
which,
circle for you.
yeah, it was so cool. So, those that don't know, we have the ABCs of leadership at the Chamber. So, a Rising Leadership Program, which is for high school juniors and seniors, BLP, Business Leadership Program, and CLP is Community Leadership Program.
Mhm.
Now, back in the day, I attended the Community Leadership Program, graduated from that, and have even facilitated that, which was fun. That was another full circle. Um,
Mhm.
BLP, I have not been able to attend as of yet,
Mhm.
but I've heard great things, great feedback on that.
Mhm.
You
I did.
did attend.
Last year, 23.
Okay.
Wait, no, early 24. I think it was February. Golly, sorry, Cynthia and Danita and all of our friends. It recently, yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. And then all the way back to a Rising Leadership. So, Rising High School juniors and seniors,
Mhm.
really fun way for me to like kick off their program. and share the importance of leadership skills, being intentional about your impact. I did communication. I taught them a little bit about DISC, actually.
Love that.
Had so much fun with them. It was merging my world of education with this, well, which I'm still educating in what I do now, but with my leadership development business. So I got to do the kickoff, and it was a blast. So I'm looking forward to doing that again in the future.
Okay.
So that's a really cool chamber thing. Going to ribbon cuttings, making sure I'm at business after hours. We have the very important role of drawing names for prizes.
Yeah, that's when people quiet down in the room.
That's when I tell them they need to quiet down in the room. It's very important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot with the chamber specifically. Actually, they did a feature on me, which was so cool. I got to write a little article just about my journey from being an educator to an entrepreneur and how big of a support they were for me. One of the first things I did was join the chamber. And I just kind of talked about my journey through the chamber and the importance of that in growing my business. So that's a cool thing. If people haven't read that, to go back and read that feature, because if you're sitting on the fence about joining the chamber, that would be a great read. Or if you feel like you're not maximizing your membership, you can look at the different ways that I'm involved and kind of talked about that.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
Yeah.
Maybe we can link it on your website too. I know we've shared it on your social media pages. So if you're not following Sierra Learnership or branching out, you're on Facebook and LinkedIn and Insta as well.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I'm over the age of 35, so I don't know many other platforms, but I'm sure they're there and that you have a presence. So follow and like, because you also share some really great tidbits there. What about other forms of service? I know that you have a different color label for service.
I do have a different color label. It is currently, oh no, it's orange.
Is it?
I think it's orange.
I don't know.
Okay.
It could be. I should know.
Yeah.
It is.
So a couple of boards that I serve on, I've been on Child Safe Center board as their treasurer for a few years now.
CAC.
Yep. Love it. I'm passionate about, helping our youth. So I know when kids are going through trauma, how much it impacts their future, and really making sure that they have the support that they need. I did not want to, when I quote unquote left the world of education, did not want to lose my ability to impact our youth. And so I do have some youth coaching clients, right? But I really wanted to serve in some capacity with helping at-risk youth. So through Child Safe Center and my work there, which, by the way, we're looking for more board members, really want some more support in 2025, spread the wealth, kind of share responsibilities. There's a lot of weight on a few people, and a very important mission. So Child Safe Center is important. Camp Esri, we joined that board. So a wilderness adventure camp for at-risk youth. Absolutely beautiful. Happy to be a part of that, and sponsor some kids there. And then I'm trying to think what else I've been involved in the past year.
You're not busy. You really need to pick up some more. Sorry.
No, and I do get requests to be on boards, and I do feel like I've reached my capacity, and I always say I have to give up something before I take on something else.
True.
And I cannot give up Child Safe Center or Camp Esri. So right now the plate is a little bit full. I am passionate about Cornerstone for Women Leaders. I had Shade Paul on here, and would really love to support her on the board. I just know that I when I do something, I want to be able to give it my all.
I'm glad you said that. I was just getting ready to say, in all seriousness, you are passionate about many endeavors.
Yes.
And I know that you oftentimes spend, you don't want to be upset, but you're upset because there's only so much of yourself to give.
Yes, it's a problem. It is. So no, I feel like when I first started my business, I didn't feel like I was giving back in the community at all. And it was a goal for me to really get involved and see how I could support. And I naturally kind of take on some sort of leadership role in things that I become a part of. Even Polka Dot Powerhouse, I became the person that would recruit speakers to come in and try and generate new membership. Like it just naturally kind of happens. And all of those things take up time. But as I've grown my business, I've also realized, I talk about all the time and giving back. It's time, it's talent, right? You can give back in so many different ways. When I don't feel I can support in one capacity, I move to the other. You know what I mean?
I do.
So
That's a very beautiful way of saying, in part of my French, you don't have anything. Anything.
yeah,
Well, maybe
yeah,
something. No, nothing visible to anyone else. I can sure,
yeah.
like, you put your heart and soul into everything you do, and if you don't, even when you're giving more than you think that you have, you've pulled it from some reserve well, you're still looking for more to give, whether that's your client or your service boards or just somebody you meet, on the street. That's just how you are and how you function. So I know we all love that about you.
Thank
Of
you.
course. Can you tell me more about your individual clients? Because those are nothing to sneeze at. I think that's also what people just assume that you do on a regular basis. They know you have larger clients here and there, but
Yeah.
you're not just in the corridor that you drive on a daily basis. You are reaching people individually, and some other areas I want to ask you about. But tell me a little bit about your data on those individual clients or those groups.
Yeah. So it's well, as far as geographically, they're spread out. When I started SLC, I really envisioned my focus being just giving back in this community.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really thought I was going to have clients outside of the area. But I really think due to the pandemic and networking virtually, I built a lot of connections around the world. So I have like these little hubs around the US. It's funny. I've grown my little Texas hub. I have a lot of Austin clients. California, have a lot of folks out west. I have South Carolina, North Carolina, I have Florida, Massachusetts, of course, up and down this corridor. It's great. But then also outside of the U.S., a good number of folks in Australia that I've worked with. I have in Canada. It's just so fun to know that I have connections all over the place. I always think like little old me, right? Grow up in a town of less than 300, and I know people from around the world, and I didn't have to travel there to get to know them. And that's, I mean, when you stop and think about it, it's crazy.
No, in 2024 and now our listeners in 2025, your voice is being played. I'm motioning to our monitor that just showed you all of your analytics for your podcast. Your voice is being heard in Russia and India and New Zealand. And just circling back really quickly to your hubs in Texas and California, for those of you listening, we will travel to you. We
Yes.
do want to go there for work. I have been to Austin once, and it was fun. And boy, would we have such a very professional, tailored time.
It would be great. No, I love that you said that. I do travel. I enjoy traveling. I do want to come to people. We did High Point for Business of Design. Congratulations to them. It was their 20th anniversary, and I got to speak with Kimberly Selden, and that was beautiful. So we traveled for that.
And you connected them to local. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just think that's so stinking cool.
Yeah, we got them cookies from Winchester, Virginia. These cookies traveled. You know what? This is funny. So they landed in Dulles, and they drove to Winchester to get their cookies, and then went to North Carolina
from California. This individual.
Well, yeah, from California.
I know you're very humble and not to step on any toes or to be weird, but this individual, it travels for a reason. They're a traveler, and they're very successful in their line of business, which is very cool to me.
Yes.
But yeah, cookies from our own little hearts and hometown. I thought that's the coolest
Yeah.
coolest thing.
Yeah, it was cool.
And they love them.
Yes,
Yeah,
they were
thank you, Andrea's
delicious.
goodies.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
So your other highlights from your years or your individual your hubs outside of U.S. and international, you've spent several hours, and those hubs have grown because referral is the best form of marketing. What an
Yes.
honor! You didn't have to pay a dime for someone to say all of these amazing things that they report back from
Yeah.
your support.
Yeah, I going back to what you said about reviews,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I I take a picture the moment a review comes in and I send it to my mommy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's how
Mm-hmm.
important they are to me. I'm like, look, mom, look what
Mm-hmm.
they said. I'm doing something great, I swear. Um,
Tammy Collins is your biggest fan. She almost tore my head off before she knew who I was. She thought I was, and I had asked, listen, Mama Collins, I asked permission before I copied and pasted. And I was like, this is not genuine of me, but I think you said it so wonderfully and I want to use it. And I think I had posted it 3 seconds and Miss Tammy was like, who is
who is
this?
this taking your stuff?
Uh-huh. Get them, Tammy.
She
Don't
was
let
so
anything
protective.
filter. She's your biggest fan, mom or not.
You know what's
She's
funny? I
awesome.
have two biggest fans. Well, three because Matt claims to be as well. But
I only like you a
Ken
little bit.
Burton,
Yeah, Ken Burton.
Sterling Distinctive. He says
Uh-huh.
he's my biggest fan. But yeah, it's so true. How much I value those reviews.
You only have one true biggest fan.
Oh,
None of them can hold a candle to me. So
oh, I thought
Thank
it
you,
was. I
Matthew
thought it
Bear of
was
Social
Caleb.
Drive.
Now I'm.
Yeah, Caleb, the train conductor. He's the real boss. Yeah, no, you take the picture and you send it to Tammy,
I
and
send
because
it to her.
and
Yeah, and
you
I'm
read
proud.
each and every one.
I do, and I lost some of them this
Oh,
year,
boy.
and I guess Google randomly stole them from me, and I was very upset about that because I do value them so much, and I'm like, these people are sharing about their experience with me, and other people need to know what it's like because there are a lot of coaches out there. There, coaches sometimes have a negative connotation. So I want people to be able to go there and read what it's like to work with me.
Let their egos
Yeah.
find out the true value.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So, and thank you to my referral partners. Like, I'm going to give Todd a shout out.
Oh,
Todd Howard Ezrin. I told him I'm going to have to start paying him commission.
I know.
He has sent so many wonderful people to me, a lot in the design world,
Designers
right?
love you.
Designers do like me a little bit. I'll let them say they love me, but I think they like me. But anyway, thank you to Todd because he brought some folks to the first retreat.
Yeah.
He sent folks to the next retreat.
Asked you to have another one for him next year.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you to Todd. But I have a lot of great referral partners who send folks my way. My B&I group in Pennsylvania, they have sent me so many clients, so many great connections, connected me with the city of Hagerstown. That was a really big one this year.
Yeah.
That connection has been wonderful to feel like, again, being able to have an impact on a community and look at the big picture, see all the inner workings of what it takes to run a city blows my mind. Truthfully, I'm going to say people are so ungrateful. Like,
Truly.
It is so easy for someone to be like, my trash didn't get picked up today and be mad at the city. But do you know what has to happen behind the scenes for the city to function?
Tell them. I was in human resources for a local government, and I'm telling you, they don't know. My greatest plea is take advantage of every opportunity to educate yourself, not only as a voter, hopefully we were choosing to be voters, but to understand the human beings that are making daily multiple choices for us. They are public servants.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got to do a ride along with police and fire this year. I got to go and sit at the 911 call center and listen to the calls coming in and how they handle those. being able to see those things in action, like I think I've said it a bunch of times before, like I want to do every job there is out there.
Yeah.
I want to experience everything.
Uh-huh.
But doing what I do allows me to dig deeper and understand, right? I want to shadow you and see what it's like to be you, but then I can help you and understand how you can grow as well, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, your need to dive into business acumen to better help the client, I think is really important, and I love that you love it. I know that oftentimes you'll observe before you'll comment or consult or build out any type of strategic plan for someone, and that's really important. So thanks for you are touching your community in so many ways that I don't think that you ever understood or intended. So that's really special.
it is special. I just feel blessed to have had the opportunity to do it. It's so easy to look back at like the journey to the business and the period of time where I thought I was throwing away my education, like where I thought, how can you have a master's in elementary ed? Why are you leaving the classroom, right? But as I made the transition into the interest in leadership and then started this business, I realized all the crazy things that happened then, the Lyme disease, everything, it happened for a reason. It led to this. And if I were to go tomorrow, I know that I've given it my all, and I feel like I've had an impact on at least one, right?
You're still very much in a classroom. Your
Yeah.
classrooms just look different. It's a larger platform, and wow, if anybody just kind of is able to just take a step back and look at the plan, right, the hand on your shoulder for your life and the impact that you are making because you were obedient, right? You went through these hardships and you didn't accept excuses. You pushed through. You created what is seemingly just an amazing business for many. So I commend you on that. Some other highlights from the year I think is really cool. Winchester Star Awards, there was a category created specifically for you, talking about another favorite of yours, looping back. Jay Foreman, tell me a little bit about that. That was exciting.
That was exciting. Okay, so the category did not exist. So Winchester Star Awards, Winchester Star is our local newspaper, which things have so much meaning to me that I don't know that they do to the normal person. I'm not normal, okay? So when I think Winchester Star, I think getting up at my grandma's house and running down in my bare feet to the end of the driveway to pick up the Winchester Star and unwrap it with the rubber band. Like, I remember that, right? And when I think about that they have awards and that I was nominated for one, like, that's a big deal to me.
Yeah.
It might not be to someone else. And people have their feelings about those awards and stuff. But to me, it meant a lot. And okay, the category didn't exist, but I don't know if I want to give away who nominated me. I don't know if I should.
Well, I'll say that the category ended up this first year existing. It was created. They reached out, and then it ended up being you and one of your great friends, the fun guy, Jay Foreman himself.
Yes. Okay. So when I was nominated, I was in the category by myself, and I said, I am not going to win because I'm sitting in a category by myself.
Right. There's nothing to be proud of.
It's ridiculous, and I should never be in this category alone. There needs to be someone else there. So I nominated Jay. Yeah. And Jay's like, why would you do that? Like, you just created competition. Right. So we spent the final days and final hours, because it was right up at the end of nomination time, sharing to vote for one another. I'm like, if you love me, vote for Jay. And Jay's like, if you love me, vote for Sierra. So it's this funny thing to this day where Jay ended up winning. But Jay says that it's because I have more of a following that supported me.
So you really
because
won.
I shared to vote for him, and that means my people listened better, right? And so it's
she
a
does
running
have
joke.
Us conditioned. I wonder what next year there are. No bias here, but you and Jay, wow, like who better to kick off a new category? Because you guys are just monumental powerhouses for our community. We're really proud to call you our own. Another great highlight, I think, was obviously you had the launch of your podcast, this new category creation, your chamber feature, BOD, all of the stats you've shared with us. The retreat was a big deal. So tell me a little bit more about how the retreat came to be. We talked about Aspire to Achieve. What is Full Focus, first of all?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the Full Focus Planner system is something I've been using. At this point, it has to be 7-ish, maybe a little more years. And it was the first planner system that allowed me to merge my personal and professional worlds into one, where I felt like I could set personal and professional goals. I could track my life all in one place. Because as a teacher, the teacher planner of the year was always the thing. What planner are you getting this year? But it just housed my lesson plans. But what about the rest of my life, right? So this system took every aspect of every old planner that I had and really was the first one that had all of them in one place. And so I used it for a while. I started recommending it to my clients, and then they came out with a certification program to be able to teach people to use it. I'm like, I've already been teaching people, and now I have permission to, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I started kind of sharing this resource, and the majority of my clients use it at this point. But I created the steps that lead up to the goals that you write in this planner. I created that process. And when I combine it together, that is the retreat. So the first 2 days are my process leading up to the goal setting, right? And then that final day is how do you now put it in a plan format where you can take this planner and implement it. So I just love it.
Let's not breeze over the workbook portion, please. All my growing task list for you, the part that I ripped apart because you asked me to, and I was so kind to give you that. Tell me about the workbook and the tiers, and not so much the content. You guys can come and find out. You come to the retreat.
Yeah. So, when people are applying this in their own lives, you need time to really get your thoughts down, do a brain dump. I'm all about brain dumps, right?
Brain dump.
Just get it all out on paper so you can look at it and make sense of it. And what I wanted to do was to create a workbook that went along with what I was teaching so people could implement things as we went, really reflect, but also it has to meet so many needs because think about the people I had in the room. I had biostatistician, I have real estate, I have woodworking, interior design, banking. Yeah, it was such a mix. HR. And some of them were business owners and some of them were sent by an organization that they work with. Okay. So some people were there setting goals for their business, their own business. And they just wanted to focus on that, right? That's all they would have focused on was just goals for the business. We had some people who, my organization has sent me to this retreat. I feel like I have to focus on writing goals that will help me to grow that business, right? But this makes you pull back and look at the big picture and look at your whole life.
Why?
Really?
Why? Tell me.
Because it all intersects.
It matters. I'm not coming into the office the same person, the same tone, the same body language every day. It's all life. It all connects.
It all connects. And so the workbook I created in a way that allows people to access based on what they needed to see. So there were some resources for business owners doing financial planning and marketing planning documents, and then a lot of personal resources with mindfulness and thinking about your body, mind, body, and spirit, right? And some people hear that and immediately turn off. Well, that's fine. Don't use those features. But I tried to build a workbook that allowed people to really dig into what they needed most. It ended up being over 200 pages.
It sure did.
And then Erica's over here like, you can't give them all of that. Why are you giving them all of that? Well, I'm sorry. It goes back to I want to give everything I have.
You provided a holistic resource. Don't listen to me. You know when to listen to me and when to turn it off, which is so unique and good for you. Nobody else has cracked that. Your workbook is tremendous. I know because I sat and worked through it. I know because I sat and tried to be very critical of it. only to help it improve, and it's magnificent.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
no,
want your
good work.
feedback on something, actually.
I would love to. This is my favorite.
Someone emailed me the other day and asked if they could purchase my workbook in isolation. I said no.
Yeah, I don't know that it's not as rewarding. You cannot. Yes, it's self-paced. Yes, it's self-guided, but it's truly not.
I just felt like the instruction that goes with it, the conversation that has to take place. I
part of
don't.
the package.
Yeah, I just don't want to give it to someone and them not get out of it what they could. So I said no, and I felt terrible because no is not always easy for me. And I felt, yeah, it would be a great resource for them, but
And it
not,
is.
yeah, but not without like Sierra creating some video resources that goes with it, right?
It's not currently a standalone product.
It is not.
And it's okay to share that. It doesn't mean that it's not being developed or it won't be developed into a different format.
Yeah, like in 2025.
So ask us again later. And until then, I think registration for the retreat has closed. We do have some future ones coming up. And she just told you, if you reach out now and ask to book, it's at this point, as you're listening, it's probably next weekend or a week, but she will still fit you in.
No, it's true. The only reason I had to shut down registration for the retreat, food, and well, yeah, that's kind of important. But the resort wants to release the rooms back.
Yeah.
And so if someone still wants to come, there's probably still rooms. You just can't get it at my original rate. That's it. I'll feed you, I promise.
Oh, we were well fed. There were no qualms there. And materials, we are preppers. We have everything ready to go. So you just tap us on the shoulder or ask us to hold it for your team individually, and we will come do that.
Yes, what a great idea.
Oh, look at you. She didn't even hesitate. She just said yes. Sometimes I have those. Sometimes I do have them.
I know you do. I have some too. I can't wait till we talk about 2025.
Yeah, I have a great idea. I'm just going to Wonder Woman it real quick. Thank you. Right now, I'm blowing a kiss to Kramer.
Oh, you are. Oh, you moved the mic screen.
Oh my God.
Matt is going to be so mad at you.
I am so sorry, Matt. I'll sit here and hold it. You guys, Matt gave me a screen that doesn't be screening, and so I'm not asking you to go watch it. I'm sorry for touching it and moving it again, Matt. Hopefully, thank you, podcasters, for hanging in there. It's all fine. If you're listening, which you should be, I have done a little Wonder Woman spin. I've moved from my Blues Brothers glasses into party mode.
Oh, 2025. He's got it going on.
Oh, I have it going on. And
2025 is about now because after she messed up the microphone, she's not going to be invited back for another one.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. And also, if you're just still pondering why this episode is called A Year in Review, there's a colon there, and then Toots and Twist. Well, here comes the Toots. Okay, Happy New Year. I hope that hurt our producer's ears. Thanks for hanging in there, podcasters. Sierra, where are we going?
Oh my gosh, where are we going? Okay, so
Heaven.
Yes, I sure hope so. Okay, this is where I'm gonna toss something out there.
Go ahead.
Okay. We didn't talk about one service that I provide, and I didn't ask you to not talk about it. It just naturally didn't come up.
What have I forgotten?
Well, we have helped screen some candidates.
Oh my gosh, we're totally doing some HR stuff. Well, you've been doing it.
I have been doing it, but it has been wonderful this year to have your support in doing that.
Thanks.
And when she said that she is a well-seasoned HR professional, she's not lying. I for so long have not wanted to provide any HR feedback or consulting services. That's just not something I've been willing to touch. It's not something I want the liability for. But when people came to me initially and said, can you help screen using the disc as a tool? Well, heck yeah, I'll run a disc. I'll provide feedback on how this candidate does or does not align with the strengths necessary to fulfill this role. If you provide a very nice detailed job description. That evolved into the whole Sierra screening process, which has been great. But yeah, I actually jotted down notes. We screened 22 candidates in 2024.
So that's a whole service being provided. You didn't do it once or twice.
Yeah, that's a whole service. And so going into 2025, my hope is that if I put this out into the universe, that someone might take the leap and support me with my HR on a more full-time basis.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I hope that they can get past the fears associated with it and take the leap. But I'm just going to throw out there, we have a lot of folks in need of HR support.
Mhm.
And I have an HR professional that has helped me like crazy this year.
Mhm.
And I hope, and my clients have reached out and hope that in 2025, you and I will find a way to make it work where we can have you more than 10 hours a week.
So they have specifically requested me by name now.
They
It's not even,
have.
hey, do you offer? It's, can we have her?
Yes. Can
Yeah.
we have her?
There's power in saying no right now. I have a full-time job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
and I try to be as available for you as I can be. I'm also just so proud to be the mother of a soon-to-be 14-year-old, independently parenting. I am single for those interested. Todd, I heard you had a party with Marines that I wasn't invited to. Maybe at the end of this year, but I hear Matt
He's
outside
groaning.
like, oh brother. I need to structure an LLC in order to be able to provide the services, because I often am asked for consults or some of the HR standard products. Love talent acquisition and management, love coordinating process improvement. It really makes my heart beat. Don't like the Benny's side of the house, but we do have resources to tap into as HR professionals. It's something I would love to provide. It's something I've been asked outside of SLC, and I only have fear-based excuses in response. So part of the A2A program that I am dipping my toe in is outlining a plan. So
Yes.
we'll get there with your coaching and your help. We'll get over myself. And
I'm very excited for it. And I know, we talk about how busy I am.
Mhm.
Let's talk about how busy you are.
Why? Okay.
No, seriously.
Yeah,
The way you have made yourself available to me. And I know that, my stuff comes through on your phone when other people you're not responding to, right?
Yeah.
And it's on Do Not Disturb. I know that maybe it's just a quick message here or just a quick message there. The time adds up significantly. I am super grateful for you, because all of these things that I just shared earlier, I could not have provided that without your back end support, your director of details this year. And seriously, I doubled the size of my business this year.
Wow. Wait, we got a toot to that.
Oh yeah, a little toot.
That's crazy.
I doubled it.
Congratulations.
But you and I both know
Mhm.
that I truly could not have done that on my own.
You're capable.
No, I couldn't have provided the back end stuff.
Mm.
I didn't have any more time. I milked every second of
Yeah.
this year. So seriously, the goals in my planner this year could not have been achieved without your help. And so when I am asking you in 2025 to have more of you, it's because I love you and I respect you, not because I'm trying to squeeze you for more than you have,
Yeah.
right?
No, I understand.
If things align and will allow it to happen,
Mhm.
I would love to, in 2025, offer more HR support through you.
Well, thank you. I'll take you up on it. I will be available. We'll get there. Keep asking. Eventually, it's going to be, yes, here's what I can offer.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get there. So
Yes.
that's 2025. The retreat, we kind of didn't finish that earlier when I didn't reveal that the whole retreat came about because we went to a Sales Uprising lucrative live event, which was planning your first live event.
Mhm.
And I walked away and they were all talking about how long it takes. You should plan a year in advance.
Oh, was that the recommendation?
Oh, yeah.
You really choose to have selective hearing sometimes. Wow, what a visionary. Okay, go
Yeah.
on. Tell us more.
Yeah.
Now
So we executed it in 3 months. That's why I'm impressed too.
yeah, you should be.
We
Not too dissimilar from how this podcast started.
I believe it.
Oh,
When she has
yeah.
an idea, she is ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. So, my vision for that
Mhm.
is to continue. If I look at my analytics for the quarters 1 and 4 are always the most busy for me in
Oh.
all services. And it's obvious why.
Mhm.
It's the time when people want to make changes. It's the end of the year where they're looking back saying, I can't have another year like this. I have to make some changes. I'm ready to invest in my growth or invest in my team's growth, right?
Or that was great. What do I do now?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Or the beginning of a year, fresh start. I'm excited. I want to re energize my entire team. Let's get aligned behind my mission and vision, right? And so there's just so much going on. So the retreat naturally kind of fell November, January. My intention is to continue to do that.
Mhm.
And then in the other quarters, I'm currently working on planning out some other stuff that
Oh, are you?
is.
Okay.
Yes. Well, you see collab sesh on
I
my
do.
calendar, so you know there's stuff going on
There's
behind the scenes.
always stuff in the work. There is never a quiet time here. So I just strap in and wait for directions.
Yeah, you're good at that. Yeah, so I am planning some other events,
That's
and I'm not
exciting.
going to reveal what those are just yet, but I will say those have been some a long time in the making.
Mhm.
A long time, I'm not going to lie, like an entire year we've been talking about it, and then we didn't really pull the trigger, but we're ready because things had to fall into place for it to work out the way it was supposed to, and
Oh, I
it's
got
going to.
tingles.
Yeah. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
So that's on the event side of things.
Okay.
My schedule is much more structured in the new year.
I was waiting for this. I'm
Yeah.
excited and nervous. Tell
Yeah.
me about it.
Okay. So Mondays and Fridays are my speaking engagement and workshop days.
Mhm.
I can't do sporadic anymore. When you are serving so many coaching clients, you're doing candidate screening, you're all the things that I've said today, right? I can't have a schedule where we just fill in any gap with something, right? I couldn't do that anymore. So we went to more of a recurring structure where all of my coaching clients are on a recurring schedule of, for example, second and fourth Tuesday at 9 a.m., right? It's predictable. I love that, right? So all of my coaching clients are on that sort of schedule. If they have not yet been moved to one, they already have an ideal slot, and you just haven't heard it yet.
Yeah.
It's happening. And that leaves, so that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That leaves Monday and Friday for speaking engagements and workshops. And I'm not going to lie, I don't want to do both Monday and Friday. I really need Monday to prepare for the whole week.
Yeah.
I say that, but if you look at my schedule for first quarter, every Monday and Friday in January and February are already full, and I have a hold on March 7th, just so you know. I don't know if you've seen that. So all of that to say, at least it's structured. The morning is client facing. I like it that way. That's where my energy is strongest. It's going to be great. I can look ahead and I know when I'm doing my retreat, when I'm speaking, when I'm serving coaching clients. We have backup for reschedules. It's going to be great.
Yes, I agree. I'm excited for our creative individuals, our high eyes, those that want to rock and roll, go with the flow. That's holding to your ideal calendar. It's gonna take a lot of work on both ends, understanding from the client side and making things work for us, because while you have an ideal day, there are some organizations that are tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, we're planning this conference in a year, it's on a Tuesday. And then all of a sudden, here goes your calendar, we're booking travel and stay and presentation prep time, which we know takes a great deal. And so just a reminder to listeners who feel boxed in by that type of planning, it's fluid, right? It's flexible.
It is. That's why the word ideal is there. I have to have an ideal to go off of.
Yes.
So you're right. I've applied to speak at a conference that I'm really excited about. I hope that it works out. I'm probably going to have multiple days available for that. Anytime it's like a conference scenario. So that's why we also built in those extra gaps for reschedules, right? And clients have to reschedule sometimes. Sometimes it's not me. So anyway, we have the ability to be flexible, but I'm telling you today what my ideal is. And
And we're going to stick to it.
and if anybody could help me stick to that, that would
Yeah.
be great.
Well, I think it's great that you take this opportunity on your platform to share that as well. It helps with understanding. I am not a patient individual, so if I come to you not knowing when or how to approach you, just, here's my need, can you meet it? Sometimes it's hurtful if I were to be told no, and that's not your intent. It's that you are booked in advance, way in advance. Like if I want to have a meeting with you and it doesn't fall in the spaces that you've reserved because I haven't signed a contract that you need to fulfill, for example. It's not a matter of priority to you. It's a matter of how and when making it work. So, when people are like, "Hey, do you have this link for me to book myself?" We can't. It's too confusing. We would have to contact you several times. So I love that you're building it out so you can fit everybody when and how and
it's seriously a puzzle, Ericka.
It is. It truly is, but it's an important puzzle because it also factors in you being human.
Yeah.
Which is important, which is also a totally separate bullet point on the accountability list for 2025.
Yes. Yes, this is true.
And when it ties back to your purpose, mission, vision, value.
Yeah. When I focus in on priorities, I actually look at it by quarter, and I try not to choose more than like 3 areas of my life to focus on per quarter.
Okay.
But 2024 was a heavy financial well-being the entire year. And so the people that are closest to me knew I had to put my head down and ignore distractions because I wanted to pay off my credit card debt. And I told you, I told you, and I will share, it took a lot of self-control. It took a lot of hard work. But I paid off $50,000 in credit card bills.
Tooting. Let's toot.
Let's
tooting that. That's crazy. How fun is that? What a great idea. 50,000 is nothing to sneeze at. Congratulations.
It is nothing. Thank you so much. So the people that have been so frustrated because they want to go have lunch with me or whatever it may be, understand that I've been carrying a lot of weight on my shoulders. When it comes to financial well-being, that impacts your mental and emotional health. It impacts so many areas of your life. And I needed that to get like a clean slate and put the Lyme disease bills, all of that behind me and just like move forward, right? So 2025, I'm not saying financial well-being isn't important to me in 2025, but the goals look much different. I can now move to a place where I'm actually saving for my future, which should have happened a long time ago.
Hey, life happens.
Right?
Plans change.
But now I can move to that, and it takes a lot of pressure off. So I do have some personal goals in relation to travel, which if I can build travel into serving my clients, that's amazing. Right?
Twofer.
Yeah. So on the personal side, I think a lot of great things will happen in 2025 as well. I will say because I will make them happen by choices that I make as well, right? Because it goes back to what we do have control over is our choices that we're making. And for me, I do have to say I'm pretty well disciplined.
You are wonderfully disciplined.
I will. I don't like to talk about strengths sometimes, but I will admit when I was looking at core values the other day and identifying new ones for the new year for myself, I kept looking at the word discipline and I was like, it took so much discipline to reach my goals this year. I can truly say in 35 years, I've never worked harder than I worked this past year. So anyway, back to 2025. For the podcast, it's going to be more of the same, but in a great way, right? Because when we say branching out, we're bringing people with a variety of perspectives, right? All different walks of life, different industries. I just want a good representation of what leadership looks like at all levels in daily life. Just helping people, my word is intentionality, helping people be more intentional. And adding value and giving them something fun to listen to when they have a commute or whatever, right?
Do you think that, and not putting you on the spot, or maybe it's going to be a quick response because you already know and you are dedicated, Do you think that you're going to continue a weekly format or maybe go down to bi-weekly, monthly? I'm not speaking for your producer on my end only because I am so fiercely protective now.
Yeah.
I would love to see you. I love the product. I love what you're doing and I love that you love it and I love that you're committed. I would love for you to, it's not stepping back, it's not based on capability, it's not defeat, but I would love to see your format change at some point from weekly to, I mean, they don't all have access to you like I do, getting to hear from you so frequently and wonderfully. So I would never want to take a resource from someone. But do you see your pace changing?
Okay, so next week for me, I'm going on a mystery adventure. I don't know where.
I do.
Shut up.
Mhm.
You know too? How
I
come
know.
people know and I don't know? My
Because it's not a
parents know
surprise for
too.
me.
Oh,
I was playing defense.
okay.
I had to hold that line.
Well,
Exactly, I knew
He
that
needed
it
reinforcements.
was your schedule, so I had to talk to Ericka to make sure nothing else got put on your schedule.
She is trustworthy with her time. She is just so darn dedicated to everything that we had to play defense to protect the time for you. So
Yeah.
go and enjoy.
okay. Well, I have a plan that wherever I'm going, apparently there will be some vehicle time. I am going to be working on creating my goals, doing my full focus planner. And at that time, while I'm with him, we will discuss what it could look like for 2025 as far as pace goes. Um, I'm all about consistency, right?
I know.
And I think people have come to expect it weekly. People could easily come to expect it every other week as well. But I don't know what it will do to the listenership. How will it impact it? And I am so data driven in the way that I function. It's almost like, we have the data from this. Well, do we try it like that for a while and see what happens? Does it increase listenership? Does it negatively impact it? Right? To me, it's not about me, but it's about how is it going to impact the listeners and will that work better for them?
It's an interesting perspective, acknowledging that I have no knowledge. So my opinion here weighs very like a grain of salt, right? But it gives them more time to listen to episodes, perhaps. But at the same time, how would you know without trying it? And is it better while it's not in its infancy, but it's certainly new? Is this the time to play with and pull that data real time? Because no one's podcast is yours but your own. So I'm really excited to see what comes from that.
I will report
insight.
back on that. If anybody has feedback, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, just send me feedback and tell me, like, hey, Sierra, it's too often. And I have someone who said their commute's only 10 minutes. And so they listen to me in 10-minute chunks every time they start up the car, right? And it takes them a while to get through a long episode. Maybe they would appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
But what's our most popular episode?
the longest one.
Ah. Well, maybe it's longest because you were having just a jolly time. You had a lot pent up and a different recording schedule. I'm not that I have a true preference here. Just
It doesn't seem that way
just
at all.
advocating. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what works best for you guys. I know that you'll continue to be dedicated and bring content to your listeners that you find super valuable and helpful. So whatever you choose, I think it'll be great. But I certainly love the idea of you putting regaining that time back. I don't think that your family is the last of your priority by any means. They're built into the plan as well because they're significant in your life. But I know you're scheduled to have very, very little personal time because every ounce is spent giving back to others. So
Yeah. The other thing that I'll say about the feedback, I really do want people to share the topics they want to hear. What do they like about the podcast? What do they want us to change? Like, I want to know. I know people are listening because I look at the analytics, but where's the feedback, guys?
Where's
Come
your
on.
need?
Come on. I want to know what you're looking for. So if I'm investing the time to do this, that I make sure I'm bringing what people want.
Yeah, like more Ericka, more Jay, more Jessica.
You know what? There are polls. I can
Less
run a
Matt.
poll. You're funny.
Just kidding.
Do you want me to run a poll on who they
No,
like
don't
most
make it a competition.
between you
I
and
don't
Jay
need to
and
hurt
Jess?
anyone's feelings. I'm kidding, you guys. I promise I am the most humble outside of this room. No, I don't want to see the results of that and failing miserably because Matt will sit behind Matt.
She
Toots.
just said that she was humble, guys. Did you hear that? The most humble outside the room. We're going to celebrate how humble she is.
They don't want to know. Oh, you're talking about humility. You just gave me a lot of great stuff about the earworm, about listening to your beautiful voice. What about other things you offer and get asked about often that has led you to new action? It's something we'll see in 2025.
Okay.
Online presence, maybe?
Oh, tell me more about this. Tell me what you're talking about.
A storefront, perhaps?
Oh.
We get a lot of requests from.
Yeah.
Like,
I know where you're going. I know where you're going.
yeah,
Sometimes I don't pick up on the lead. Okay. So, yes, I have a lot of people that I make recommendations, whether it's the Remarkable, the Full Focus Planner, the Friction Erasable Pens, books that I'm
Yes.
constantly recommending.
Oh, I love your reading lists.
Thanks. So I decided I was going to start an Amazon Associate program. And I can put up on the website basically like a storefront where you can go on and look at Sierra's recommendations, purchase directly from there. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Until you gave me that lead in, I was like, what are you talking about?
What did I
tell her? I did just recently do that.
Yeah.
I just started it last week, so it's fresh in my brain.
I didn't play doctor or like teacher growing up. I played secretary. Like my parents who were in IT and in they are still, but they would bring back old inventory. They would bring back old telephones and office equipment for me to play on. And so that's just me telling you how much I love office supplies and how long it's been super important in my life. So when I see other people with really cool pens, I don't take them any longer. As a young adult, I was like, this is a nice pen and it's mine now. I won't do that to you any longer unless we're at an event and it's a giveaway. So now that's been corrected in me, when I find super cool things like that, it makes my heart pitter patter. But also as a leader in my work area, I can go and I can see what other leaders are using and that's a great idea. So
I'm excited about it because people do ask for feedback on things and what do you use. I was talking about pens so much at one of my City of Hagerstown events that one of the fellas after the workshop came back to the room as I was cleaning up and he brought me a special pen and he said, I want you to try this. I think you're going to like it. And it was amazing. It was like micro point, like the smallest tip ever.
Wow.
It was so sharp and
We'll look for that on your storefront. You're branded. You've been branded, but we've got merch now.
We do.
Somebody asked where you can find that stuff.
So we have the SLC beanies, which my brother crafted merch. Check him out. My brother created them for me. Great quality. Actually, you weren't there, but I gave them as giveaways to some folks at Business After Hours. And someone came up to me afterward and said, these are like the best quality. Where did you get them? And I'm like, yes, my brother does high quality stuff, but he does any laser engraving stuff. I'm just going to throw that out there. Craftedmerch.com. Great promotional products. But anyway, we have that. We are so grateful from Signet that we were able to finally get some polos. I know how much you love polos.
Oh, I hate polos, but I love a cardi.
Yeah, so she's got her cardigan on. We have quarter zips, so comfy. So we have lots of cool stuff.
And some stuff that people should be receiving in the mail soon if they haven't already.
Yes. So Ericka, thank you for shipping everything for me. But yeah, this year, I used to like do individual gifts and
it took you a while to get them out. I'll say that much. Golly, y'all. It's right around the time I had started. I was like, why are there Christmas presents here? And I was like,
Mhm.
hey, don't forget to take Christmas presents today. But knowing what your schedule is like now I know.
Now you
So you had a
understand.
better approach this year.
Much better approach, and able to send something out to everyone that supported SLC this year. And if I forgot you, I truly apologize. I went through the list so many times, and I know I still forgot people. I was messaging you up to the last minute, like, add this group. But anyway, just a little something for you to, have with you each day, hopefully, as a reminder of the community that we've created of lifelong learners and effective leaders. So anyway, great merchandise, and those were also created by Isaiah. These, you know what, these people 304 every day, numerous times a day. I'm getting this, and I'm just going to share it on the air because it's
so
annoying.
popular. Why am I not? I'm gonna pretend like my iWatch is ringing with people too.
Yeah, it's not. Sorry,
It's died.
That's funny. I was gonna say it's not blowing up because you're in the room with me right now. So there's
my Apple Watch died. That's all.
That
was funny.
That is funny. We should, when we do the product page, put some of our SLC merch on that page too.
Yeah, I really want you to bring the stickers back. I love stickers.
Matt got those made for me. Those were a gift.
I want a koozie too one day. Okay. But I wanted apple blossom colors for those of you that aren't Winchester. What are we called? Winchesteronian? I don't know. Don't pick me apart. But I love apple blossom. We have this huge festival. They say it brings over 200,000. It's a 2-week event with 1 weekend really packing in all the fun. But it's pink and green colors. Blossom babies. Okay, bloomers. So maybe some other merch coming down the line one day. Look for our branding.
Yeah, seriously. I think that's great. Oh, and I sent the pink and green beanies. Matt was like, people aren't going to wear those during apple blossom. It's hot out. I was like, we need apple blossom stuff year round.
Oh yeah, we hopefully license plates soon they're working on.
Those vanity plates are cool.
Yes, some of us bleed pink and green. So like it's a whole year endeavor for some of us.
Yes, pink and green. Hold on. Toot.
Toot, pink and green. Blooming. Okay, thanks for that. Wow, this has been a really fun episode.
It has been. I didn't tell you this earlier, but a little note popped up on the screen. Untitled doc. Let's read this aloud. Hold on. It says, Ericka, which he spelled wrong, is trying to beat the 2-hour time of Jess Gordon's episode. We're a little over an hour and haven't even hit looking at next year. That was written a long time ago, by the way. Ericka with a K. Let's put a little K right there.
Spell that right, producer.
40 minutes ago.
Oh, my bad. I'm supposed to be going and playing guitar with my dad.
Well, we just got you really worked up. I hope you shred what's some terminology?
We're playing Celtic music.
Oh, well, I hope you have some boot stomping.
Dad plays the fiddle, and I play the guitar. And he is a part of my schedule in the new year.
Yay!
1 Monday a month. Yeah. We're having a little jam session.
Nice.
So Dad has made the schedule.
I would really love if he would allow, I'm not sure, I don't want to throw him out there, but I would really hope that you guys can record something to feature one day. That'd be so fun. Or do it live maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's many podcasts to be recorded, so maybe one day we'll get them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
That's awesome. So lots of cool things coming in 2025. I'm sure that we didn't even hit on, honestly. But I'm going to say again, thank you so much for everything you do, and even like spreading the message of what I do. It has been so very helpful. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to another year with you.
Oh, I'm looking forward to another year with you, but thank you for your thanks. I appreciate your appreciation. You are doing a stellar job, and I don't back endeavors I don't believe in. I don't have to hoot and holler negatively about them, but I put my time and energy and admiration into those that I personally find, I don't want to say worthy, but man alive, you're just doing incredible work. So I'm excited to be here with you. It's an honor. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. So we're going to close this thing out. You're not going to do it?
I'm not going to do
You're
it.
You're such a loser. What is happening?
Hold on, wait.
Oh, wait. Oh, God, this is...
Holy...
You're cleaning this up.
That was so exciting. Is your nerves okay? That was loud.
Woo!
That was the twist part.
Yeah, so...
it's in your hair.
You have to replace the microphone.
Who cares? Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. We're looking forward to 2025 with you. Thanks for being here for this episode.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be back again. We'll see. We'll send you the bill for cleanup in here. Oh, wait. you clean.
Yay! Man, that was worth the $5 I spent.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Thank you. All right, folks. Thank you for sharing in this journey with us in 2024. We're looking forward to 2025. We really do want your feedback. Please take a moment, 30 seconds even. Shoot me a message, info@branchingoutpodcast.com. Matthew will get it and share it for sure. You can go to our website, branchingoutpodcast.com. Subscribe so you're getting notifications. You'll find out whether it's going to be weekly or every other week in 2025, yet to be determined. But thank you for your support this past year. There is no real branching out challenge for you. I am just going to say, if you found value, I would love it if you would take a minute to share this with someone else and make 2025 your most intentional year yet. That's what I hope for you. All right, guys, until next time, keep branching out.